Yo, yo, ladies and gentlemen, we are episode 11 of the Power and the Punchline.
Yeah.
Rudy, I get every week, I'm like, we got another one. The people want us back, so we keep bringing it back, man.
That's what's up, man. And, I'm getting a great response. I got to check, if you don't understand Instagram, like I had to learn it, Mick, you got to look at stuff and, you got your generals and then you got your people who are waiting in the wings, people who are not like a part of your crew. You got to let
Mhm.
them in. They leave you messages too. And I don't check those.
Yeah,
Very rarely do I, but now I check them and it's all full of power and the punchline regards and comments and stuff like that. So I think
yeah.
I think we're on to something.
I think so too, man. And, we ask everybody all the time, give us something you want us to talk about. And today, man, like this one comes directly from our fans, from our followers. They want to talk about cyberbullying and bullying. And so I was like, let's
Woo.
go there. It's like,
Yes.
let's do it. So, today we're going to talk through cyberbullying. We'll talk about old school bullying. We're going to talk about cancel culture. We're going to talk about it all, man, because
Okay.
it's a real thing. And, when I was doing research on the topic, Rudy, man, I saw this stat that I found crazy. Social media in all forms really hit a peak. Like the real climax of social media was like 2016, right? Because we had all the different platforms that finally were converging and everybody's hitting them all up. In 2016, 33% of the people said they experienced some type of cyber or social media bullying, right?
Wow.
25, that number was 60% of people. So it's no longer a trend that cyberbullying is a thing. It's a real crisis.
It's a
And
part of reality. Yes.
yeah, and you
Part of
know me,
seeing.
man. I'm a huge mental health advocate. I do a lot in the community on mental health. And I will say from what I've seen when I talk to people from teenagers to people in their 60s, social media causes a lot of anxiety and stress, bro. Because it's not like old school where you go to school and that's kind of where it lives and it starts. Like you get attacked everywhere on social media, right? Like you're at work and all of a sudden you get notifications. You're at home in your private time, you're getting notifications. You're traveling in the airplane, you're getting notifications, man. Like this stuff is real, bro. What do you think
Yeah.
about it?
Well, I think, it's a big, huge part of our society now. Like everything happens through social media. I
Yeah.
mean, before you could probably be on a street corner or in an office building and talking in a small circle about a person that you dislike, even if you were the protagonist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or the antagonist or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, social media broadens that scope of where you can reach people. You know what I mean? Now, let's say you and I have a beef, we go to the same school. Well, guess what? I don't have to see you for everybody to know how I feel about you. I don't have to say it in front of everybody in the park or in the yard. I could just post something and say, I don't like Mick XYZ, whoop, whoop, whoop. And now you hearing it, whether you chose to follow me, block me, or whatever, it's still gonna get to you. That's the strongest part about cyberbullying. You can't stop it if someone really intends to get to you.
Yeah, and we're starting to see it all the time. I mean, I'm not as active on Instagram. Like I'm very active on LinkedIn. I don't do anything on Facebook. But when I'm on Instagram, I start to see it, right? Like I start to see the people that are getting attacked because it's real easy, Rudy, to hide behind a screen, man. Like it's real easy to hide behind this phone right here.
Yeah.
Be real big and bold. And I think that's given you can be faceless. Let me say it that way. You can be faceless where, when with us growing up, we talk about school, we talk about, going into the barbershop. It's me and you,
Yeah.
right? It's
One
me and
on
you.
one. Yeah.
It's me and you. And you might have your crew with you, and it could be 5-on-1, but it's still gonna be some licks. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna
Absolutely.
be something. Whether those licks are verbal or whatever, right? It's gonna be some licks that we share. You
Yeah.
can be faceless. I mean, how many people know people that have like 10 social media accounts and they're just creating them to go in and attack people or to cyber stalk people or to do whatever. And it's driving people literally crazy, man. Like again, I see it when I'm in the community or when I'm doing mental health events or when I'm volunteering at mental health institutions. 55% of the people that are there, it started somewhere with cyber or social bullying, man. And it's just like they can't escape it because now it's in your psyche. It's real
Yes.
easy to say just turn it off.
Yeah.
But we're all human. We all, whether we want to admit it or not, we seek feedback. Whether that
Yes.
feedback is positive or whether that feedback is negative, we're addicted to the feedback because social media has given us instant feedback, whether we
Yeah.
want it or not.
And one of the worst things, Mick, man, is when someone attacks someone. Like, just imagine someone put something out there negative. Now, that's bad in itself. That's just, the gaslighting effect and everything. But even worse is when other people double down and comment and like it and have opinions about it as well.
Right.
That's when the bullying goes to a whole nother level. It's like, they get their minions, say, hey, listen, I'm about to post this about this guy. I need you to comment on it. Or people are already ready to comment negatively. You see a lot of that in the news or on everything, like even with celebrities. Somebody says something bad about a certain celebrity, everybody piles on. It's terrible.
Yeah. How do we avoid it though, man? Like what are some tips that Rudy Rush has for people to I don't want to say distance themselves from it, but to not let it get to your psyche?
Now, you actually have the secret key and you don't even know you have it. I'm going to tell you this. And, I'm not being funny. It's about relationships, being close to someone. And people always kind of take you away from marriage, try to make you seem and that's another way of bullying people even in thinking that they shouldn't be married. Marriage is something, or relationships, I should say, because I've been in a relationship where it kept me away from social media. When you're with a partner and you're doing things like, you're eating together, sharing moments and laughing, vacationing, it cuts down on the time that you have being single on that thing, looking for validation, looking for other people doing things that are like, kind of like what you're doing. But I felt like, being in a relationship, it took me off the phone for sometimes a 16 to 24-hour period because you engage with the person. So that's one step. I think that's the major place, is having a life that kind of takes you away. Even being a parent can do that as well. But just having something to take you away. It's not just work, because work kind of has you going drifting into social sometimes when you have minor breaks and you get locked in. But having a relationship is cool.
I think having and whether it's relationship, marriage, whatever, just having your circle or being active in something that's social media distracting. I'd
Yes.
also say this, like, and I know it's hard because everybody's been in this craze of posting everything that you do all the time, and everybody thinks it's cute. And if you're not making money from it, I'd say that's the thing that you should stop. And if you're not making money from what you're doing on social, like, turn off comments. I know it's real easy to want the validation, but just turn off the comments because I think people spend far much more time than they need to in
Yeah.
the comments when if it's something you really wanna do and if you got a circle, throw it in a group chat. You know what I mean? Like, throw it in a group chat where it's not public.
Yeah.
You know that those people are in your corner, and if you are getting something that you don't agree with, it's from people that you trust, right? Like, every feedback doesn't have to be positive. Like, you know that about me. Like, I crave and want, like, "Hey, tell me where to improve." We don't have to agree on the things that we talk about. We
Yeah.
can totally disagree, but I respect it when it's people I trust.
And
If
that's
I
what
don't know you if I don't know you and you got something to say, like, it's really hard for me to
And that's what I
respect.
wanted to ask you, actually, because in the line of business that we both are in, we're open to public scrutiny.
Yeah.
And I know I can say I've been fortunate enough that a lot of people like my show. They like how I interact with people afterwards. They just kind of, so it's been for me not that big of a deal having to deal with people like, yo, you suck and this, or really coming at you where you feel like you have to defend that. There's been times where I had to step toward that line and pull myself back because I really wanted to engage. Like, who you think you're talking to? So I want to ask you, because you do reach the masses just as much as a comedian or a
Yeah.
music artist. You deal with people all that, encountered that.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of times. I mean, I get feedback quite a bit, if I'm speaking, if I'm doing a workshop, if I'm doing spokesperson work. Like, I get feedback. But I learned a long time ago from mentors that I have, right? Like, if you're a millionaire, and I'm not saying I'm a millionaire, this is the analogy, right? Like, if you're a millionaire, do you want to take advice? Do you want to take financial advice from somebody with $20 in the bank? Right?
Mm,
So be careful where you're getting your advice from because everybody has opinions, but if you're not an expert in that field, like, I don't pay attention to that opinion. Like, you're just somebody that just likes to give feedback, right? And then a lot of times it tells me who you are as a human being. It
yeah,
tells me about why you are where you are.
yeah,
And I,
yeah,
I just use that as an analogy, right? But for instance, if I'm on stage, or let's just go to Rudy, right? Rudy's a comedian. You're on stage. You're gonna take advice from somebody that's never been on stage before, like
never,
that's never had to
never,
work the crowd before, that's never
never.
been on that side where you got like 6,000 eyeballs looking at you and half of those eyeballs are wanting you to mess up. Like it's
Yeah.
a little bit different on who you're getting advice from and who you're getting feedback from. And so
Ex
that's my advice for people is like pay attention of who you're getting feedback from and then determine if that person is qualified, right? For you to receive and internalize that feedback. You're going to
so
get it,
yeah.
but what's that other person's qualifications?
But we're dealing with the more refined Rudy Rush, the more refined Nick Hunt. Like, we've been in the game for a minute and we had to deal with it initially. And luckily for us, we didn't start our careers our career started before the social media boom. So we kind of had some, on detractors. If you had someone who didn't like what you were doing, you kind of dealt with them at your show, at your functions and things like that. So at what point did you actually, say to yourself, like, I'm not going to allow these outside influences to have an effect on me and how I think? Because I've seen some of my colleagues in radio and in comedy be very affected by one person's words. They could have 10 great comments, and then one negative will turn them upside down to where they even try to change who they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think one, that's human nature, right? When we talk about social media and the impact, we talk about the world and the impact, right? Like, think about reviews. Businesses get Google reviews and they get a bunch of 5 stars, but it's that one star that gets somebody fired, right? One time. Doesn't matter. Sally got 10,000 great comments. Sally gets 2 bad reviews and Sally's out the door. Sally's talking to the owner about what's going on. So for me, how do I deal with it, man? Like I just one, I have thick skin. Two, I let people know I appreciate feedback. But again, like I'm gonna check the qualifications of the people giving me the feedback. So and I also have matured to where like I'm not gonna call somebody out on the qualifications because I also know that most of the time people want you to engage with them because now you're boosting their credibility. Right.
Yes.
So you have nothing to gain by doing that. Like Rudy Rush has nothing to gain by interacting with these are my words and my words only some bum who only wins by Rudy interacting with them, right?
But I'll do it. I'll do it. And listen, and I've done it, and I've done it, and I felt there was one post I made, like I literally like a year ago, Mick. Some dude said something, and it just went there with me.
Yeah.
It went there, and I wrote a whole long thing, or I made a whole long video. And before I pressed send, I thought about it. I said, where is this going? Where is this going to initially? Because you and I have the opportunity to have, like, we don't, people's access to us is very simple. It's just coming to a show, even being outside of, in front of a venue. Somebody could be right here that I have a problem with, and I won't even know who they are. So I
Yeah.
had to take that into consideration as well. Like, what are you ready to drum up and start? And so, I had to calm myself down. But yeah, it's very hard not to react to someone being disrespectful. And like you said, they're out there. And so what happens with the kids when that's happening in school or happening in college or
Yeah.
when they're young and 20 something in the workforce and that's happening and they don't have the fortitude or the mental capacity to take it like we do.
No, and that's brilliant, man. And that kind of leads to my next stat that I want to discuss. And that I want every parent right now to stop what you're doing and focus on this because this is about your children. 74% of United States teenagers believe social media platforms are doing a poor job addressing bullying on social media or cyberbullying. 81% say the same thing about elected officials, meaning that your city councilors and your
Mm,
state governors and all that, like no one's doing a really good job of addressing cyberbullying. So I'm
mm,
gonna talk to parents because those are stats. You can look them up. Like that's not me making it up. You've got to be active in asking your children questions. You've got to protect as much as you can what your kids are doing. And I know we don't feel like that should be us and that our kids are going to say, Mom, Dad, why are you all up in my business and all that? But our kids don't know how to cry out for help until it's too late. And
mm,
sometimes it's too late. And you all know what I mean by that. Right.
mm.
So, as parents, we've got to make sure we are addressing cyberbullying, which means that sometimes parents, it's your doggone kid that is the cyberbully.
Indeed.
Sometimes parents, you might even be the cyberbully, but you've got to be able to think about your children, create those safe places and environments for them because you have no idea if 75%, 74, almost 75%, that means that if there's 4 parents that are listening to the show, 3 out of the 4, your kids are experiencing cyberbullying online, and you're not aware of it.
Wow.
Because we always think of the most extreme situations of cyberbullying, right? Cyberbullying could be, can you believe what Sally wore to school today? Can you believe that Jimmy couldn't afford to eat this? Or let's go
Mm,
attack Jimmy. Let's go because, Jimmy lives in this household or Sally lives in that household, or
yeah,
we've got to protect our kids. We've got to have these conversations. And I don't know if I know the way to do it other than to say you've got to be, if your kids are active on social, you got to be active with them
yeah.
because it's different than just dropping your kids off at school and asking them how their school day went. It's no longer just that.
Yeah,
It's no
and
longer just that.
it's difficult because my oldest mother and I, we actually had an agreement for her when she wanted to get on Instagram. Was like, okay, you can have a page, you can get involved, but we have to have access. We have to be able to see the messages coming through. You know what I mean? So that means it restricts her from having anything outlandish going on her page, but it also gives us insight as to who's trying to get in through because like I said, it's an open playing field. Like, you have grown people, sometimes these predators also, like, you think about cyberbullying right in the midst of all of that are the predators and all the creeps and all these other bad entities that are trying to get to your children. That's the worst thing about kids. Now, you and I, we're grown. If I see somebody coming at me, I'm like, bro, I ain't Chris Hansen, but you really don't want to come and meet me. But at the same time, they're targeting our children. So not
Yeah.
only are they dealing with the bullies, they're dealing with possible predators and people who want to do things to them and have them do things to themselves. So it's tough.
Yeah. And also, 81% of kids, so this is everybody under the age of 17, feels cyberbullying is easier to get away with now.
Yes, it is. Yeah, easy.
Right. And so again, as parents, you have to be able to protect, to stay involved, to ask better questions, to look at differences in your kids. And I'm gonna take it a step further because of social media, right? Like, because of social media,
Yeah.
they can see things going on in different worlds, right? So, meaning if I live in South Carolina, right, and I'm a kid and I can see trends and cool things that are happening in LA and in New York and San Francisco or whatever it may be, like growing up, we didn't know those things. It wasn't in front of us every day. And I'm not saying bad things. I just mean societal things in general. Right.
Yeah.
So your children are much more socially aware than you were as a child.
Mm,
And as a parent, you've got to understand that. So again, you've got to ask really good questions. You have to make sure, I'm going to keep saying it, that you're protecting your children. I don't mean shielding them from things. I just mean being that safe place, making it okay to have conversations, asking about the things that you're seeing online and on social media. And
yeah.
hey, are you getting messages? Like, let's do a review. I'll show you mine, right? Like those things that are critically important as parents because we can't let Instagram raise our children.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, I've realized, Mick, we all find little cheat codes how
Yeah.
to raise our children from time to time. And one of the crazy things I realized with my oldest, it was just sitting across the table from her at dinner out. Like at home, teenagers are in their room, or when they come out, you're parenting, hey, do the dishes, hey, make sure you do your laundry, how's your grades and all this other stuff. You have these parental to child conversations. But when we would go out to eat, and have some wings or have, something, some dessert or something, my child opened up so much to the point where I was getting so much information. I knew the girls that she wasn't getting along with at school, the boys she liked, the teacher that she didn't feel was teaching, in a prop. So I got all this information. And as a parent, I felt like I hit a really good stride with her, a really good, gold mine, if you want to say, like to where, hey, what's going on? I knew about this beef that was going on between her and this group of girls and how this, and I knew, even though I wasn't seeing things online, she wouldn't expose that part. I'm sure that there was some things being said via texting or via, social media. But because I had an insight and an understanding, at least was ahead of the curve a little bit if things got out of hand, which it never did.
Yeah. No, and that's something too, another stat, 90% of us have witnessed cyberbullying but chose to ignore it.
But yeah.
Right? So think about that. That means most of us have seen an instance of cyberbullying and we chose to stay silent. Well, I need you to understand silence is a vote, right? Silence is a decision. Silence is a choice. Sometimes people need that rallying partner,
Mm,
right? It's like, hey, I'm here with you. I'm going to say something or I'm going to do something, which leads me to cancel culture, right?
mm,
Like you're in the entertainment space, Rudy. So you see cancel culture and you're in the comedic space, which is actually where cancel culture started, was in the comedy world, bro. And I tell people
yes,
this all the time. Cancel culture is bullying with a PR team. It is
yeah,
genuinely the same thing. So talk to
yes,
us about cancel culture. Again, it started in the comedic space. It started in your world, bro. Like people started saying some things, some jokes couldn't be funny anymore, and now people are canceled. And I'm not saying that some of the jokes were not right. To have a
yeah,
conversation, I think
yeah,
canceling is wrong. It should have been conversation and education around certain things because people mature and like there are words that we can't say that should have never been said, but we should educate, we should have conversations because that's how people grow. If you
yeah,
cancel somebody, you're just adding gasoline to the fire. You're
absolutely.
creating the divide, and that's not what.
No, absolutely. And I don't appreciate, yeah, and you're right. In comedy, people go back 15, 10. Sometimes even in athletes, if an athlete makes a bad tweet when they're younger in high school, it comes back to bite them and haunt them and they get canceled or they get that little mob that wants to cancel them. It's tough. It's tough being a comedian, but I could tell you one instance. I was doing an event where I was hosting this literary event and I said something about two men asking each other to use the restroom as opposed to two women. I was making a comparison. And I used a word that really made someone upset. And this woman, I mean, she stormed down to the front of the stage after the show. I mean, now listen, Mick, I thought I killed it because everybody's giving me all this love, all this, this admiration. And I was like, oh, okay, boom, boom. She's like, no, I'm mad at you. And I thought she was playing at first, but then she was like, you use this word to describe blah, blah, blah. And I didn't defend myself right away. I said, well, you're offended. I'm not here you know, to tell you you're not because you are clearly. But that was a situation where it could have went higher up with the people that hired me and things like that. So I had a really good conversation with her and kind of toned her down. Not I didn't fight her on the fact that she was offended. I think that was the first thing that disarmed her. I was like, yo, I apologize, but that was not my intent to disrespect that group of people. I was just talking about two guys going to the restroom. So you can kind of know where I was going with that. It was just like, I used a term that I don't use anymore. But
Mhm.
even in that time using it, I didn't feel like it was wrong. But I definitely, as comics, we have to switch up to meet the times and do things. And a lot of comedians don't want to do that. But we are big targets for cancel culture.
Yeah, I mean, how have you seen that affect comedians? And I'll just say on the comedian lane because I mean, I know there's some comedian. I'm not going to say they don't exist anymore, but there were some high profilers that you know they're not. They don't have Netflix specials. They don't have even YouTube specials. They don't have their own executively produced things that they can put out anymore, man. And,
No,
and so
no.
again, I think going back to having conversation instead of choosing to bully people or to expose people or to cancel people, I think is a big thing.
Yeah. I think the world is changing and you have to go with that. You have to understand that. Like, there was a time that we watched television shows where men and women were married sleeping in separate beds. And now,
Right.
you're seeing all types of things on regular network television. So we've changed in that respect, but at the same time, the world's become a more sensitive place. You have more people more attached to being offended than before because there's so many platforms. But yeah, as a comedian, you got those few guys and those few girls that just push through and they say, listen, I'm gonna be who I am and true to what I want to be true to, which is this is a funny observation, even if it's a bad situation, and this is my take on it. Just to give some clarity or just to give some levity to what's going on. And it's hurting some people. Some people win. I mean, we're gonna talk about people. Dave Chappelle is one of the greatest examples of he goes to the line, he crosses it
Mhm.
quite often. And he comes out a little less scathed than most people. He talks about the trans community, he talks about politics, he talks about all types of things, even as current as the situation going on in with countries and stuff like that. And our show, we tend to involve everybody. So we don't talk outside the lines. But at the same time, to make the point, he
Mhm.
does it in a way that people are entertained. And it's masterful because he figured it out. Like Carlin, like
Mhm.
Richard Pryor, who wasn't so political. I say Chris Rock is another one. They used the times and the situations to make us all say, okay, let me think about that. That was a funny take on it. Where others, it's low hanging fruit. I think that's the problem, Mick. I think a
Yeah.
lot of the people get canceled for the low hanging fruit. If you say something about a particular group of people or culture or something of that nature or anything that's uncomfortable, you have to be, you got to step your game up. If you're a really good comedian, you got to write a better joke to help us understand where you're going as opposed to just saying, bow, that's wrong or that's right. And I think that's the thing. So you gotta step it up.
No, I agree, and I think Chappelle's brilliance is that he never comes from a place of attacking. I look at it more like he's saying, "I see you, and let me start a national conversation, and it's gonna appear for the first 10 seconds of this bit that I'm coming at you, but what I'm saying is I see you, right?
Yes.
And let's
Yes.
have a conversation about it." I think that was his brilliance, and if you don't understand the intellect of Dave Chappelle, then you were the first person that wanted to attack it. But I guarantee everybody go back and watch. Go back and watch Sticks and Stones and just watch the brilliance of what he really is saying is that I see you and I want the world to understand the platforms that everybody has in those communities.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so he does a great job. And like I say, you don't get the awards or the accolation for just being a regular guy who just happened to do it. It's needed. It's needed. And that's why I feel like, he's such an important part of society and where we're going right now. Like I said, we had Carlin and others like that, but now we have him and we are searching for more people because you could be funny without making mention of anybody from any community, you honestly can. But like I said, sometimes with anything, there's low hanging fruit. Anytime you go into any situation, you can make fun of anything. But if you try to, like, my job is this: if I go out and I see 10,000 people, I've done the Toyota Center, I've done big arenas, I've done the Apollo Theater, all those things. You always try to get everybody to sit in one room under one accord, having the same time, having a good time. You want
Yep.
everybody to laugh at the same thing. I don't care if you're from the hood or you come from the suburbs or you come from another planet. And that's the problem with a lot of comedians today. They don't understand. They just want to cater to that one thing. And there's some what I think is funny. And I don't care if I make you uncomfortable. That has changed in comedy. Before you could do that. Now you can't.
Yep. I
Yeah.
love it.
So
I love it.
so that's what's up. But yeah, man. And then, like, with these kids and stuff like that, and even some celebrities having multiple, like you said, being able to be, you can attack people or you can even protect yourself sometimes by creating. You see Kevin Durant, he's got several burner accounts where he just goes on and he goes back and forth with people. And it's hard for people to kind of, get attacked and not want to attack back. But I know one person, and I hate to jump off topic. You ever hear that term from Biggie? Now, I've done two already on the show. This is to be the third, and it applies to you. So people out there who don't know, Mick Hunt is what Biggie Smalls called invisible bully. I thought about that term today. He's an
Okay.
invisible bully. And what I mean by that is like this. See, Mick is a nice guy. And Mick has a lot of people who, fall under the umbrella and they love Mick. I'm one of them. But hanging out with Mick, I realized that there's people around. Mick's got about 20 cousins. They all work out. They all in the shadow. Some of them are police detectives, some of them are trainers, whatever. The nicest guys, but at the same time, they all are working under one accord, and that's to protect this guy and make sure he's good. You know what I mean? So be careful. I'm just letting everybody know if you feel like stepping the mic for whatever reason, there might be some other people that you got to talk to first. So luckily for me, I'm on the good side, but I was like, because I thought I had to do it, Nick, but I was like, oh no, there's about five dudes that gonna be there before me. So you got invisible bully status. You know how you walk around, you just got people posted, and they not even there for that. But if it goes down, it goes down.
Yep. 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 So
So
we talked a lot about cyberbullying before we get into your top five, man. I just want people to understand, especially parents, let your kids have the conversations. It's really important. 3 out of 4 experience it and feel like there's nothing that's going on to protect it. So have those conversations because it's
mhm.
not just at school anymore. On social media for the adults, have conversations instead of attacking. Like it's real easy to be faceless. It's real easy. But I promise you, Rudy, ain't nobody ever just walked up on me and bullied me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm outside. a lot of times. Ain't nobody just walked up and bullied me. So just remember that. Like it's the people that you are attacking are humans. They have feelings, they have emotions, they have children, they have family, they have friends. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Or should you just have a conversation?
Yeah, yeah, definitely have that yeah, and I got a confession to make. I got bullied one time. I lost one fight, mate.
Oh, you lost one?
Yo, let me tell you something. And it doesn't count because you like that part. It don't count because he turned out to be a career criminal and really like left this world in a bad way. So he was already on his way. His family was tough, so tough that I had an uncle who was in the street, and I told him that I was having this problem. I'm in the fourth grade for crying out loud, and this dude's bullying me. He's taught, you know how in the fourth grade you can hit a spurt. I ain't hit that spurt yet, man. I was shorter than all the girls. You know what I mean? And I told my I told my uncle, and I told him he knew who the family was, and he's a street dude. And he was like, "Oh man, I don't know about that one." I was like, "What?" So I had no protection. But yeah, man. But I got that bully. But a lot of the times, and we need to tell our children is, facing bullies is all about fear as well. You're afraid of something that that really can't harm you as much as you think, and that's a conversation, like you said, parents need to have with their kids. Find out what's going on with your kid at school. Find out who the players are. Who's your friend? You hang out with these people. Y'all don't have no beef with nobody. Like sometimes it's good to ask certain questions because you don't even understand. Something can happen in a moment's notice, and you just like on the outside looking in, you have no
Yep.
clue that this was going on the whole time.
Yes, sir. We all just heard Rudy Rush got his teeth kicked in one time.
No, no,
He was
no,
trying
no.
to make an
Listen,
excuse.
I got hit one time, and there was some adults around, and they didn't stop it. I'm looking for them to this day. I don't care if they 92, right in front of Harlem Hospital.
Man, you got beat up in front of the hospital, bro?
No, listen, and this dude was such a bully. His sister was a year older, and fifth grade is bigger than fourth grade. She
Yeah.
was like a terror too, and they both kind of walked me down. And to this day, I never get hit first. I hit him first, and then he just kind of did a number on me, and I was like, "Anybody got some help for you, boy?" But
But
when I
at
got
least you
older,
didn't wake up in the hospital.
no, and when I got older, I saw him. We were playing basketball on 135th Street in Harlem. And let me tell you something. I was bigger than him, Mick, and I could have took it to him, but I'm glad I didn't because he was part of that street element, and it would have gotten worse for me. I don't think I would be standing here talking to you if I did. So
I'm
thank
glad you
goodness for
had the
that.
emotional intelligence and self-regulation to just say, "I'm the bigger person."
Man, I retired right after that one, bro. Right after that.
So, Rudy Rush's top 5 today.
Yes. So listen, the top five today is the top five bullies of all time. Now, there's bullies in everyday life and in the past and the present. I try my best because there's a lot of bullies out there to kind of compile a decent list from the past and the present. Because some people always talk about you going to the past, or some people like, oh, it's too current. How about this and that? We're here for everybody. So this is my top five bullies of all time. Number five is Brutus. Now, Brutus, if you don't know who that is, that's Popeye's major adversary. Him and I don't understand two dudes fighting over the same chick for as long as they was. She was skinny like a crackhead. Olive had something. Olive Oil was doing something in the hood that made these brothers. Olive Oil was doing something for these brothers to be
There you
fighting each
go.
and every episode to get at her. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure that'll come out. Made that dude eat. And Popeye, poor Popeye, without that spinach, Brutus was definitely smacking him up and down. Number four, the number one father of all time in my book, but everybody said he's a bully. My man, Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson was known as a bully. He bullied everybody, but now that he's gone, of course, he's getting more flowers because everybody's looking at, Serena's dad or maybe even other parents in the industry or entertainment and stuff, that he was on those kids because in this day and age or any day and age, it's very difficult to get a star. And he had several. I
Mm.
mean, forget about it. Even Jermaine, when you can make Jermaine a star with that hair,
And Vaseline, I'm telling
yes.
you,
And,
bro.
and one thing you don't know about Joe Jackson, people sleep on Michael Jackson. They think Michael Jackson left the group. He never left. He just had a solo career. He always came back and did tours with his brother and stuff like that. And let me tell you something. I think a lot of that had to do with Joe's influence on him. Like, you can go over there, do your little dance and do your little moonwalking, but you won't come back for this victory tour.
Yeah. You remember what I did to Ben. You remember what I did
Yes.
to Ben.
Yeah. So shout out to my man Joe Jackson. Number three, and this is a surprise bully, but I'm gonna tell you why. It's Mike Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson had one of the ferocious reputations in the ring. He was a killer. Everyone was afraid of him in the ring. But people don't know this. Outside the ring, he had a reputation too. And if you were around Mike Tyson and he liked your lady, or there was some other thing, or you said one wrong word, like the wrong keyword, it would snap and he would actually be up on you. Even to this day, Mike is much more docile. He's much more calm. But I don't know if there's one person in this world that's in the room with Mike Tyson who don't know him personally that got their booty tight. Like, I don't know if I can say it. Mike Tyson makes everybody nervous. I don't care how calm you are and how cool he is. You don't want him to snap. So
Mike is the dude that when he is in the room, you got an eye on him the whole time. And everybody know what I mean, right? Like everybody been in a room where it's like that one person that's like, let me do a temperature check because once I see it go to red, like I either got to get out the room or be on the complete other side.
one of your boys be like, "You ain't see me in there?" Nah, man, I kept my eye on Mike the whole
Right.
time. I
The
didn't
whole
even know he
time.
was in. I didn't even know he was in here.
Right.
So shout out to Mike. Number 4. Now listen, Mick, this is not for you. So just get yourself on the sideline. But the inventor of yoga pants, that's a bully right there. Whoever invented yoga pants, you a bully. Cause I need my concentration to walk down the street, driving and doing what I gotta do. When I'm with my lady, I need to be concentrating on her, and everything else needs to be a second thought. But them yoga pants, in some instances, is a bully. It has that Mike Tyson effect.
You got one eye on the yoga pants.
Yoga pants got to go, man. I'm gonna be the first to sign that thing to put them out of business, man.
There you
For
go.
real. And number 1, whether you love them, whether you hate them, whether you whatever, 50 Cent is the number 1 bully right now in American history because I mean everything from putting out a diss song to putting a documentary together and exposing your whereabouts in your life. You really don't want to mess with 50 Cent. 50 Cent is the ultimate bully. And we hope and pray that, we don't talk about him too much on this show because then we may get some publicity behind it. But at the same time, 50 Cent, he's for the smoke all the time. So that's the top 5 bullies of all time for me.
No argument. No argument.
Yeah.
Solid top 5 bullies for you. I would go, 50 might just be a marketing and business strategist, right? Versus a bully. But I can see how it comes across that way. But I would
No,
say
he bullies Ja Rule. Let me just tell you what he did to Ja Rule. This dude went and bought 150 tickets to Ja Rule's concert, which sold maybe 200 tickets, and nobody showed up to the show.
you was there by yourself. That's what you said. You got to walk to the front. You got backstage passes. It was
Listen,
you
I
and
don't,
Ja.
I don't, I don't think I've ever been a Ja Rule fan, but man, that is something. That is an extreme level of bullying to end someone's career who is just on Rolling Stone magazine. That's crazy. That's a lot
Business
of powerful bullying.
business strategist, business strategist. But we can call it bullying. Business strategy. Great top 5. Great top
Thank you.
5. Amazing top 5. Amazing top 5.
Hey, listen, this is we passed 10. All of the little playtime is over. We passed 10
Yeah.
episodes. This is 11. We got to
Yeah.
get it in.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows too, go back and listen to this segment, the top 5 segment on some of the previous ones, because it's rare that I agree with Rudy. That Super Bowl performance one is still being talked about outside, just so you know. Like
This is the second.
just last week, somebody at the event was like, "Where's Rudy? I got to talk to him about the Super Bowl thing." I was like, "He is over there. Go find him and talk to him. He is over there."
This is the second one you agreed upon, and we on 11. So I'm doing all right.
You're doing all right.
Our
Doing all right.
percentage is up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Mount Rushmore, man, I was thinking of what I wanted to do from a Mount Rushmore perspective, and I talked about Chappelle, and I feel like I should do a Mount Rushmore of stand up performances, and I don't mean like a bit because I could go into a bunch of Def Comedy Jams and say, oh man, like Bernie Mac, I ain't scared, greatest performance, but it wasn't a whole show. I could go Kings of Comedy and go different things, but it wasn't like a solo show. So I'm going solo stand up Mount Rushmore greatest of all time.
Mm.
And there's some that aren't going to make the list, and I get it, but this is my Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Everybody can argue with their uncle, their auntie, their mama, their dad. If you got any of those, you can go argue with them. But my Mount Rushmore of stand-up performances. No order, but I do got to start with the GOAT, Richard Pryor live.
On the
Was the
Sunset
gold
Strip,
standard, bro.
Sunset Strip with the red
Sunset
outfit.
Strip
Yeah.
is the gold standard. And most people don't realize what you saw on film was take two. He did take one and it bombed, and he said, everybody can come back tomorrow. I'm gonna wear the same red outfit. I'm gonna wear the same thing.
Did.
But because in his mind it wasn't connecting, he just said, no, we're gonna do it again.
And I think
That's the goal.
honestly, now that you mention it, and I don't know if this is fact or true, but it may have started the trend moving forward of all comics. Most specials you see are multiple tape specials
Right,
to protect that from
right,
happening. So that may
right.
have been the first.
Yeah, people don't realize that. But yeah,
They
you
don't.
usually get like 2 days. It's a weekend, and they find the bits, and you can see it, and the comedians dressed in the same thing. It looks all one. Some editing in there. Some editing
Totally.
in there.
Totally.
All right, so that's one on the list. And again, these are no order, and you're gonna notice a trend because everybody that I'm selecting has had some great ones. And I
Mm.
think one of the most debated is between this guy, and my favorite one of this guy is Delirious. Eddie Murphy, Delirious. Raw was amazing. Raw was
Delirious.
honorable mention, but Delirious though, because you saw Raw and you got to come back and do even better. That's why I love that one because the anticipation, bro, Delirious. So Eddie Murphy, Delirious.
Yes, I agree.
Talked about Dave Chappelle. I could have just did a Mount Rushmore of Dave Chappelle, but everybody knows like that's my dude. Love Dave Chappelle. Chappelle, my guy, bro. But the closer, woo, Dave. If you want to see a true masterclass of comedy, go watch the closer, Dave Chappelle. As a matter
Mm.
of fact, I'm gonna have a link in the description. Jeremiah, the greatest producer in the world. Make sure you got that right there. The closer, Dave Chappelle. Everybody need to go holler at that one. Look at that one. I don't care who you are. The closer is it. And four, man, I'm torn between two. I'm torn between two because I think there's another masterclass, but I also think for everybody that's watching and listening, I got to go with this one because I'm not gonna say this one put this person on the map, but this person solidified and cemented their goatness from doing stand-ups and selling out arenas. So I'm gonna go Kevin Hart, Laugh at My Pain,
Wow.
because
Wow.
that one showed a lot of vulnerability that he made funny. It was during a hard time in his life, actually.
Yeah.
And you know that, Rudy, being a comedian, right? Like everybody, nobody cares.
Nobody can. No.
I paid for these seats. You better make me laugh, right? And so to know what just the title of it, but then to do it through what he was just going through, man. Like I think that one is in the Mount Rushmore. So Richard Pryor, Live at Sunset, Eddie Murphy, Delirious, Dave Chappelle, The Closer, Kevin Hart, Laugh at My Pain. And I'm gonna tell you what I had as my honorable mention. It was George Carlin jamming in New York when he gave us the 7 words.
Oh my gosh, that was genius.
That one,
Yeah, yeah.
one was great. That
That
one was
was.
great too. But those four are my four.
Now, I have one honorable mention. You know,
See,
I
ladies and
think
gentlemen, Rudy always does this to me. It is my Mount Rushmore. He could easily choose instead of doing his top five. He could easily choose to do a Mount Rushmore.
but
But
you talking about you on my court. You talk about comedy. I was like, I just want to put a little
I'm in
plug
your
in there
house. I'm in your house. You got,
for
you're
one
right.
brother.
I'm in your house. I'm in your
And I
house.
think it honestly changed the perspective and the trajectory of comedy. Even though Def Jam had us there, I think this dude took us to a whole nother stratosphere where you're seeing specials, seeing the Kevin Harts and the Chappelles ascend to the greatness to where they are now. It's Chris Rock, bigger and blacker. I think it took him from obscurity to superstardom right away. And it was an unbelievably well done, unmatched special. So yeah, I
I ain't
think
saying he did it, but I understand.
anytime you can quote some stuff from a special, it's a special, man.
No, no, and that was on my list, man. So I narrowed down 10, and that was in my 10. And I had to go that I could watch anytime and laugh from beginning to end.
Yeah.
That's how you made the 10. And then I had to go groundbreaking for different reasons. And that's the only reason. I mean, but you're right. Bigger, blacker, bringing the pain. Like Chris got some good ones. Martin Lawrence had some. I'll say like Martin's from beginning to end don't always pop. He got some moments in there, but
Yeah. From Harlem to Hollywood and Late to the Party. Those are two of my specials. One was on Showtime. The other one was on Bounce. We're going to talk about that later. But the album did really well. Yeah.
no, 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 no. We're gonna have links to those too, because y'all need to go support my guy. You
Thank you,
know,
brother.
today's episode brought to you by the Joke Gorilla and the brand itself, just so you all know.
Yeah.
Rudy, man, another great episode.
Yes.
You were about to say something. Go ahead.
I was, absolutely. I wanna give you, some flowers, man. We talked a little bit here and there about your event and, Lead Out Loud, man. You don't know what to expect when you get into certain arenas, and this was new for me. So to kinda, watch you in the element and see how, you relate to people, and then seeing you on stage, I look at people differently because I'm a comedian. So I'm looking at you on stage, and I'm seeing you being funny, you and Robert and all the other guests that you had on, man. You did a really good job. And I'm proud of you, man. It was just good to be a part of it and just to see how it affected everyone, even afterwards, having conversations on the side and stuff like that, and being able to showcase my talent in front of people who I have some relationships brewing now with some of them too. It was a great place to be. Anytime y'all see Mick, man, y'all got to definitely jump on board because it's something new too. Because everyone doesn't do it like you guys do it. It's something different, and I
Yeah,
can't quite put my finger on it, but it's unbelievably good. It's comfortable. The day went by so fast. I was looking at my watch, like, okay, and I didn't even eat yet. Like
yeah.
it was super cool, man. What you did with the veterans, with the breakfast thing was cool too. That was actually quite awesome. I never seen that before. So yeah, just wanted to shout you out, man. I really enjoyed it, and thank you for making me a part of it. It was cool.
Nah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, lead out what we do. We try to leadership, entrepreneurship. We just try to really make it different because it's adults, man. Nobody likes to be talked at, right?
Yes.
So we make everything conversational. We create a really good vibe, really good atmosphere. I made some announcements. Lead Loud with Mick Hunt is now Lead Loud with Greenville. Leaving that in Greenville, we're gonna do some amazing things in Greenville, and then Robert Irvine and I are doing what we're gonna call Impact Impossible, where we're gonna like 10x everything that we were doing for all the entrepreneurs, veterans, and leaders out there. We're talking arenas that we're gonna go sell out and do some really cool things in, big production, got some TV behind it. So it's gonna be really, really cool.
Awesome.
Impact Impossible. More to come on that later. But yeah, I
Awesome.
appreciate that, brother.
Nah,
Appreciate
you
it.
got it, man. Hey, we need a Mickism before because I think you skipped the Mickism or two. So we need one before we leave, if you can pleasure us with
How
that.
about I'm not even gonna give you a Mickism. I'm gonna look in the camera. I'm gonna turn the volume up in this mic right here. If you are bullying, quit being an asshole. Just quit being an asshole. Like antagonizing people isn't cute.
Mm,
There's more people that are watching you than you actually know. I can promise you. I've had conversations with the president of LinkedIn, and I know the folks over at Meta. There's actually more information about you than you know. Quit being an
mm,
asshole. Have a conversation. You'd be surprised how far you get just talking. Being an asshole is no longer cool. That's my
mm.
Mickey.
All right, I'll take that one. That one's strong right there. Nah, definitely, man. And I'll double down on it. Ditto.
There it is.
Well said. Well said. Enough said.
So everybody, always do what Rudy says. Reach out to us, comment, hit us up. Let us know some things you want us to talk about. We got asked if we're gonna do a community. More to come on that. We'll probably throw a community out there where you guys can rap with us, hit us up. But definitely follow us. Make sure you are checking out my guy Rudy Rush. He is probably coming to a city near you
I hear.
at some point in 2026. So go check out his schedule. If you want him in your city, reach out to him because you'd be surprised. Like you saw what happened in Greenville, right? Rudy's like, hey, Rudy, you just blessed the stage. We need more Rudy in Greenville. So now Rudy's working with the city of Greenville to go develop some shows there. So
Yeah,
reach
yeah.
out to Rudy. He is there, he is willing, and he is worth every dime.
Go status. That's right.
Follow us, hit us up. Love you all.